today I'm talking to you about that moment that we've all had, or you will have at some point, which is when the client sits down in front of you to have their client copywriting briefing meeting. And you may never have met them before, and they're either sitting opposite you on Zoom or they're in front of you in person. It's irrespective of where they are. This is the situation that you'll face, which is that really kind of awkward, hi, how are you? Good. What's happening? Not much. How are the kids? I don't have any. And, all that stuff that goes wrong in that small talk. Now, some people are really good at that small talk. Other people are not so good. This is a script that you can use if you're not so good at the small talk. And it's a script that I've created based on all my years of experience, because I realized that the way you kick off a copywriting meeting is really important, and it can influence the way the entire conversation unfolds. And if you do it in a structured way and you insert key pieces of information, you can take control of the meeting and you can get what you want, and you can actually get a better brief, which is good for everybody. So it does take a little bit of confidence to do it. I've created a script for you. It's downloadable. It is in the Copy Club file, and you can in fact download it right now, because I'm going to go through it with you. But the point of this script is you want to take control of this meeting. You want to be able to lead. Okay. And sometimes when you've got quite confident clients, or they're alpha kind of clients, they'll just take over. I've seen it happen so many times. And before I know it, I'm being kind of shoehorned into this discussion that I never planned to be a part of. And I lose all my authority, and I lose the opportunity to actually guide the conversation, which means the whole conversation takes so much longer. And the briefing just blows out because the client just wants to tell me everything about their business. It's like, I don't actually need everything. I just want my key pieces of information so I can go about my business. So it's very important that you take control of the conversation and you put those alpha clients in their place, gently, politely, of course, but in their place, or else you will be railroaded and you will not be able to get the conversation back on track. You get one shot at getting the conversation in your control. And if you don't do it at the beginning, it's very difficult to reverse the train and get back on track. Mixing my metaphors there, but I think you kind of get the drift. So let me get into it, right? The point of this is that you take control. Okay, it's called pacing and leading, meaning you need to match that client's energy at the very beginning. And if they're very extroverted and loud, you need to be that too. Okay, so you need to sort of match that so that they're thinking, well, this person's on my wavelength. That's actually another topic, pacing and leading. I won't talk about that so much. It's more of a neurolinguistic programming technique whereby you build rapport through matching their energy, body language, vocal tone, etc. That's not the topic of this. All I want to say is it's in that moment you've got to grab them at the very beginning. So here's the script, and you need to sort of lead, and I'm going to read it, right? But if you've got it printed out, you'll be able to follow it along with me. Let's say the guy's name is Paul, right? Paul, it's great to be able to work with you on this exciting project. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, we say that because you want the client to know that you are excited about this, that you are passionate, that you have been looking forward to it, and that you think it's going to be exciting, because they need to hear that. They want to know that you're as excited about this as they are. This is their baby, their beautiful baby. And you're looking at it going, my gosh, how did you create such a beautiful baby? Even if it's not. So you want to affirm that the client has an amazing business, right? Even if they don't, and even if they don't think they do, it's very nice when other people think that we do, that other people think our businesses is good. So, and just know you can never be boring with a client, because anything to do with their business that you're interested in, they'll think is incredibly interesting. So don't think you're wasting their time or, dragging things out. They love talking about their business. So that sets up the excitement factor, right? Next point. What I'd like to do today is take a copywriting brief so that I can get as much information about your business as possible. Right. So we're setting the intention, we're setting the outcome for this meeting and saying, I'm the boss today. Nicely, of course. So you're saying this is the point of the meeting, not to have a chat, talk about the kids, the weather, the footy, the international political situation. We're here to talk about the brief. Now, yes, you have your couple of minutes of chit chat at the beginning, of course, but this is the wording that you use to quickly go into the business side of the conversation. And what you're setting up there is called future pacing. You're saying, I'm going to get as much information about your business as possible. So you're kind of flagging that you're going to be asking some questions. To do that, back to the script, to do that, I'll need to ask you a bunch of questions, right? And just by saying that, he is now accepting and anticipating you asking a lot of questions. So when you do ask those questions, they're not perceiving it to be nosy or intrusive or invading their private world. It's part of the job. Okay, so you're contextualizing why you're asking all these questions. Because if you don't say that and then you get into the questioning, people go, well, hang on, what's this all about? Why do you need to know all this? So they need a reason to understand why you're asking what you're asking. Now, back to the script. You may not know all the answers, but I don't expect you to. Wow, the client then relaxes, right? Because they're thinking, oh my God, I need to be good. I need to be really across this. I need to know everything. They're anxious that you think they're lame because I don't know the answers to your questions. But the reality is they've never dealt with this before. They've never been asked these questions. They've never worked with a copywriter. So it's natural for them to feel that they are lesser or incompetent. And we do not want them to feel that, because it's not true, but it doesn't help the situation either when they're feeling threatened. So you're saying, it's okay that you don't know the answers, completely okay. I'm here to help you and we'll work it out together. So now you're saying, we're in this together. I am the consultant to you. I'm your collaborator. I'm on your side. Okay, you can tell me everything. You don't need to pretend. It's fantastic if it's not. You don't need to pretend you're making money if you're not, because you need to know these things or else you're going to go off on the wrong trail. Moving back to the script. For me to write the copy you need to succeed, I may need to challenge some of your assumptions and ask you to provide evidence or examples as to why you think that way. Woo, that's a pretty tough call, right? But you need to say that, because what you're saying there is, I need you to help me succeed. It's in our interest that we both succeed. And in order for me to do that, I need to challenge what you might be saying to me. And the reason I'm going to challenge you is because I may not believe you. You don't say that, of course. The reason you're challenging them is because they may not be conscious of actually what's going on out in the market, good or bad. They may think they're the best and they're not. They may think they're the worst and they're not. So you want to set up the reality that you are a mirror of the actual market, that you're providing a third person interpretation of the perception of their market. And they actually really value that, because often you're in this kind of bubble, echo chamber of your own business, and you know it to be X, but what the world is seeing is something different. So that's what the copywriter can provide, is that mirror to reflect what the world might be thinking about the business that the business owner does not know about. So now, is that okay? I'm going back to the script. Is that okay? And you hope, and they will say, yes. I've never met a client yet that goes, hang on a tick. I call the shots here. You won't be challenging me on anything. They never do that, because they can sense what's in it for them if they do it this way. Now, the reason you want them to say yes verbally, vocally, like out loud, is because the minute they do that, the control rests with you, right? And you can then say, now I'm in control. You've paced them, right? Now you're leading. So you can take your time. You can pause. You can do whatever you like, basically, because you've got control of the meeting. And this is helpful for new copywriters, because often they're nervous and they feel they've got to rush, get things out, keep them entertained. It's like, no, you don't. You can actually take your time, because the client's holding on every word that you're about to say, because it's about their business. Moving back to the script. And this is the copywriter. For us to make best use of our time together and to stay on time, I may need to interrupt you occasionally to ensure that I get the information I need. Well, now that's a doozy as well. It may not sound like a doozy, and you have to deliver it quite conversationally. But what you're actually saying there is, I now have permission, assuming they say yes, to interrupt you at any time. And this is absolutely essential, because if you don't have that permission, particularly with an introvert, right, who does not like to be interrupted. Extroverts are no problem. They interrupt, you interrupt, they don't care, they expect it. If you don't, they're going to just keep talking. But if you don't interrupt or have the permission to interrupt, and this is all about getting permission, then you could sit there for many minutes and feel that to interrupt is impolite or rude, and therefore you may not do it. And meanwhile, the clients are going off on the wrong track, all these side stories that are completely irrelevant, and you're just looking at your clock thinking, I've got to pick up my kids, in an hour. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to be going down tracks that are not relevant to you. Keep it on the straight and narrow. And by flagging that you might interrupt them, you then have permission to do so. So if that happens, you say, I'll just stop you there, Paul, just for a second. And he goes, oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, you said you would, and you are. So everyone's cool. So now you've got the permission to say, I just want to drag you back into that topic about X, and sometimes you want to actually go a bit deeper into some of the topics that Paul's brought up, which is important. The minute Paul brings up something that you think is fantastic, it could be a little bit more detail or a benefit or a testimony or something, and you want to keep going on that, take that moment to mine that vein. If you leave it and wait for him to stop and breathe so you can interrupt, or they move on to another topic, you won't get back to it. So you've got to take those opportunities when they arise and actually do the deep dive, because you will forget to go back to that point. And you think, oh, I forgot to get back to that point. That was the best thing he said, and I forgot to, expand upon it. You're also flagging in that sentence that I have a time frame. I'm not here just for you. I actually want to get out of here nicely. Of course, you're not saying that in a nasty way, but you've got commitments and you're a professional and you're not there just to, be witness to their greatness. So now the back to the script, and you are assuming they're saying yes all the way. And by the way, the saying of yes, they're called the little SUs that get to the big yes. So they create the sense of eventually they'll just say yes to the copy. It's not quite that simple. Anyway, for us to make best use, I've said that bit. I may sound nosy or inquisitive or like a detective, but my aim is to become as knowledgeable about your business as quickly as I can so that I can get you the results you need. Have you noticed that I'm actually positioning this content in terms of feature benefit? I'm actually using copywriting principles to write the script. So the feature is I'm going to be a detective and I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions so that you get great copy, so that I become an expert at your business, so that you get the copy that makes you more money. So it's always feature benefit, that you're giving people good reasons as to why you're doing what you're doing, which is what copy is. So we're kind of meta into the world of copy. And now you're giving yourself, or you're asking permission to ask lots of questions and to do so in whatever way that you see fit. And then the kicker. So would it be okay if I lead the conversation from here on? And of course they're going to say yes, because everyone loves to be led. Everyone loves to give up their power within reason. Everyone loves to say, you know what, I don't have to just drive this time. Please take it away. They love it because it means that they're in safe hands and they feel very confident and comfortable. And then they hopefully say yes. You say, bingo, I've got permission. Are you ready to kick off, get started? Yes, bingo. Now you have full control to take the conversation wherever you want it to go. So in summary, this little script, even though it's only a few minutes, has given you a great deal. One is to take control of the meeting, to ask whatever you like within reason, to challenge them about their beliefs and their assumptions about why they think something, to interrupt them, to disagree with them. And the best part is they'll love every second of it, because it's deeply flattering to be asked about your own business and to have someone so deeply interested in their business. So that's the script that's taken me 30 years to create, but it's all there for you in 4 minutes. I hope you enjoy it and find it valuable.